Part 2 of 11.6, we're going to now start with number 9. If the wheel is spun and each section is equally likely to stop under the pointer, determine the probability that the pointers land on. Please pause this, go ahead and try to answer A and B, and then check your work. So, first one is that we want an odd number. So, probability that we have an odd, given that the color is red. Remember, we are looking at just the red now because that's my denominator. Those are the only possibilities that can work. So that's the 5, 6, and 7, but there are 3 possibilities that can work. And out of those 3, how many of them are odd? The 5 and the 7. So my answer there is 2/3. Going to B, we want a gold. So probability that we get a gold, we land on the gold, given that the number is greater than 10. So we're going to start with that condition first because it restricts what my total possibilities are. So for my total possibilities, I'm looking at not including 10 because it says greater than 10. So I'm looking at the 11 and the 12. So I have 2 possibilities. Now we say out of those 2 possibilities are either one of those gold. The 11 and 12 are purple, so I have 0. My answer for that problem is a 0. Going to number 10, I actually already listed out part of the sample space for you for this problem. We're rolling 2 dice, but again, some people will be like, wait a minute, isn't this an AND problem where we're multiplying? This says construct a sample space, and we're looking at the probability that the sum of the dots. So what I'm looking at for my sample space is actually the sum that I'm going to get. So this would be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. 4, 5, you should start to see a pattern. 6, 7, 8, 9, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that's what they ask for the constructing the sample space. Now that we've done that, again, pause this, go ahead and try to do A, B, and C on your own, and then restart it after you've done it to listen through my example. You're not going to get all of these correct all of the time. That's part of the reason why we have these lecture notes for you to help. I always say start off with writing it. So this is a probability that we get a 7 given the first die is a 1. So if the first die is a 1, that's our restriction on this piece. So we are looking at the first 6 options here. So that's going to be my denominator. I'm only looking at those 6 options, and now I'm saying out of those 6 options, how many of them have a sum of 7? Because that's what I'm actually asking for here. I'm going to add that right there. We want the sum to be 7. There's only one that matches that, which is right there. Start with the denominator first. Going to B, probability that the sum is an even number, given the second die is a 2. So again, I'm going to go back here and I'm going to highlight it in green. Anyone that has a second one of being 2. So that works. 2, 2 works. 3, 2 works. 4, 2 works. 5, 2 works. And 6, 2 works. So if you count those up, you should see that you have 6 highlighted. Those are the only ones we're looking at are the green ones. And out of those 6, how many of them have a sum that is even? The first one doesn't. Second one does. So we're going to include that one. No for 3 plus 2 is 5. Yes for 4 plus 2 equals 6. No for 5 plus 2 is 7. Yes. So we have 3, 6, which gives me an answer of 1/2. Last one for C, probability that the sum is a 7 or 11 given the first die is a 5. So I'm going to use a blue highlighter now just so we can look at them separately. First die is a 5. I am only looking at these right here. So I'm going to take off that green portion that I have there, just so you don't get confused with it. So out of those, we have 6 choices. And out of those in the blue box, what is the sum is 11 or 7? So we actually have the 7 or the 11, which gives me 2/6, which has an answer of 1/3. Start with the condition first that restricts your total possibilities. So the last few problems I have are some examples from the book where we're using a chart, and we're going to do a few more of these. Again, pause this and please try to do 11, 12, and 13, and then come back. I do want you to notice the directions here says as a decimal or round to 4 decimal places. So I'm going to write them out actually on the paper here though as a fraction just to save time, and then I'll write the conversions on the side of those pieces afterwards. So number 11, one of these vehicles is selected at random. Determine the probability that the vehicle used is easy pass. Don't get into the trap of thinking we always have conditions. There's no given on this problem. So we want to take the total in this chart, which is 2,461, and out of those, how many of them had an easy pass or used it? So we look across the first row, which is 843. Check me later on, plug this in your calculator. We are rounding this to 4 decimal places, which means go out one more and double check that you're rounding correctly. Number 12, I do have a given in this case. So I'm going to look at this and start with that for my total possibilities. So given the vehicle was a truck, I'm only now looking at this column, which gives me a total of 999. Out of that that's circled, how many of them used the easy pass? That should be here, the 316. Put that in your calculator, and you should get 0.3163. And again, I know I wrote down that conversion pretty quickly, but you can check me and make sure you understand how to round for those pieces. Start with the given portion first. Going to my number 13, my given portion is they used an easy pass. So I am only now looking at this row. So the total in that row is 843, and out of those, how many of them were trucks? So that's the 316. Put the 316 over 843 in your calculator, and you should get 0.3749. Start with the given if it has it. Number 11, there's no given, so use the total in the whole chart. 12 and 13 had a given that restricts your total possibilities. So looking at our last two, again, pause this and please try to do them on your own using this chart. Sally, a quality control inspector, is checking a sample of light bulbs for defects. The following table summarizes her findings. One light bulb is selected. Find the probability that light bulb is. So number 14, we have the probability that the light bulb is good, given it's 50 watts. So on this first one, the wattage is 50. So that's now my denominator, 105, which is the total of the 50 watts. And out of those, how many of them are good? Should see 100. 5 goes into both of those, which should give me 20 over 21. If it doesn't ask you to round, you want to give the exact simplified version. Number 15, probability that we have a good light bulb, given that its watts are 100. So I'm going to highlight this one in yellow. I'm looking at the 100 watts. So now my denominator on this one is 130. And out of those yellow highlighted, how many of them are good? 120. Both are divisible by 10. So my answer should be 12 over 13. Start with your condition first.